Hi everyone, it's Dr. Brad Meyer from Stephen F. Austin State University, where I'm the Associate Professor of Percussion. My second tip for the TMEA Timpani etude is just to talk a little bit about dampening. So in this etude, you're going to see quite a few people release videos just like mine, and so what I'd recommend doing is look at the videos, listen to them, and talk with your teacher about why and when you should do dampenings and maybe which video best suits how you want to sound. So for me, I generally try to dampen anything that's going to have a significant clash of pitches, but also I try to make sure that I don't dampen anything that's going to be really quick that kind of interrupts my flow or the rhythmic integrity or the AKA tempo. So make sure that you're watching different videos and that you're notating down where to dampen, because everyone's going to do them a little bit differently, but there's probably some significant similarities between the videos that are going to come out. Next, when I talk about dampenings, the big thing that I try to make sure that students remember is that dampening, to dampen, is to remove sound. And so we want to make sure that whatever we're doing in our dampening, that we're making sure it's not causing extra sound or it's not hurting the sound that we're creating. So there's 4 things that I generally find young percussionists do that ruin their dampenings. So let's talk first about how we dampen, and then we're going to talk about those 4 things. So how we dampen is by using the back 3 fingers while the thumb and first finger hold on to the stick. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply touch the head with the front of the fingers. So we're using the front 3 pads on those back 3 fingers. What we don't want to do is utilize our palm or maybe even having the drumstick touching the head. Those are all things that are going to cause issues, generally creating more sound rather than removing that sound. So now let's talk about those 4 different ways that we want to make sure that we're avoiding our dampenings from sounding bad. And so the first bad way is going to be making sure that we don't slap the drum when we dampen. So a lot of times when people dampen, they slap those fingers down because they're thinking about that dampening usually as a timing thing. But what we want to do is instead we want to come in low and just lightly place those fingers on. That will allow the dampening to have maximum effect without creating any unnecessary kind of sounds like the slap. The second issue that I see a lot of percussionists do is when they dampen, they swipe the drum. So something like this. So that has 2 issues. The first is that the swiping creates sound. Secondly, when we swipe the drum, it doesn't dampen it the way that placing our back 3 fingers right where we played does. So if I place them right where I struck, it dampens immediately. If I swipe, you hear this bow sound where we're just slowly tapering off our sound. So we don't want to swipe the drum for those 2 or 3 reasons. Next, we want to also avoid pressing into the drum. Right? Like I said earlier on, we want to just place the back fingers where we struck. We don't want to press in. When we press in, first thing that's going to do is it's going to change the pitch by adding pressure into the head. We're going to be stretching the head, increasing the pitch. So we don't want to do, you can hear that's going ba, ba. So instead, just place those fingers on and let the head stop. The last problem that I see, the 4th problem, is where people are dampening. So typically, we want to dampen right where we struck, which is going to be, depending on the drum, about 2.5 to 3.5 inches from this bearing edge spot. But what I find some young percussionists do is they don't reach out far enough. They'll dampen too close to the rim or the bearing edge, and that's not going to dampen the sound as well. So a good dampen should sound like this. A bad dampen that's too close to the bearing edge or the rim would sound like this. And you can hear by not getting to that striking area with our dampening that the drum is still ringing. So make sure that you reach all the way out with those back 3 fingers to where you struck to get that really instantaneous cutoff of the note. I hope that helps. Have a great day and act some jacks.